You have to know the rules in order to break them. So to create a space that is cohesive, you have to know how to create that first. And then you can break those rules so it doesn't look chaotic. You can't start with chaos. You start with the rules and then you break them. So if you don't know the rules, you're going to constantly be trying to fix things and you're going to end up unhappy. And if you do know the rules and if you understand how to break them, you'll be able to create that balanced space that speaks your style and works with your lifestyle. So I'm Risha, and I've been helping homeowners for over 15 years create beautiful homes that they want to live in. In this video, I'm going to share with you the secret rules of mixing color and pattern that designers swear by. I swear by. My number one rule is repetition is boring. It's like having the same thing every day, 3 meals a day. You're going to get bored of it. If you had, look, I'm vegan, so if you had rice, tofu, and spinach every day, Monday, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you are going to get bored of it. So the same applies to interior design. You don't want to stick with the same color for your pop or your interest. You want to bring in different colors. Now you say to yourself, well, how does that work, Risha? Because I don't like color. I like it to be neutral. Right. But there's not just one neutral color. You can mix up those neutral colors. You can have a very serene, peaceful palette that still isn't repetitive. For instance, you could have 20 different whites. Now, I know you don't need 20 different whites. You have 5 different whites, but they all work the same way. And with that, that also could be that you bring in pattern with those neutrals. So you have a check, you have a stripe, you have dots, you have an animal pattern, but it's in those neutral colors. Now, if you love color and you can see that I do, well, geez, you're going to really do well at breaking this rule because you don't want to just have one color to make your pop. For instance, you don't want to just have blue. Say you like blue. The same blue in the pillows, the same blue in the carpet, the same blue in the built-ins or painted on the painted cabinetry, the same blue in all your accessories. You don't want to do that. It can get so boring. What you want to do is you want to think about the blue and think of all the different tones and saturations of that blue, the different values of that blue. And that brings me to my second rule. You're going to want to know is that this is in regards to the color. So you want to keep the color hues the same. What's a hue? A hue is the dominant color family of a particular color. So the hue of a color is the underlining base color of the mixture that you're looking at. For example, yellow, orange, red, violet, blue, or green. It's all the primary and secondary colors too. So when we're talking about the hue, we're talking about blue, you want to keep the hue the same, the blue the same, but you want to break that with the value of it. How light or dark it is, that would be the value. The saturation, the intensity or the purity of that color, a tint in that color. So that's when you mix the color with white. A shade is when you mix a color with some black. And then a tone is a hue that is mixed with gray. So now you can have all these different layers of that blue, and now you're speaking like a whole smorgasbord of interest in your room. You want to be able to use that color and then break it wide open. And that is going to really bring the mixing of the color and the pattern that I use when I'm designing. So the pattern, and this comes into my secret number 3, the pattern has to change. We've got the color and the different levels and of ways you can do that with tint and shade and tone, but you also want to bring in pattern. You don't want just a solid color. You want to bring in different size of the pattern, the different scales, the color. It doesn't mean that you only use that one blue. You can mix up those colors. And the design, you can have a animal pattern that has some blue in it, but also has green and white and yellow, red. But that blue is continuing and having the conversation. So change it up. Make it interesting. You'd get bored of wearing the same clothes every day. If you wore the same thing every day, you go to workout and you wear that. You go to your lunch, you wear the same thing. You go for a fancy dinner, you wear the same thing. That is the same as being in your space and seeing the same thing all the way throughout. You don't want to do that. You want to bring interest because you are a complex being. You have so many different layers of yourself. If you're a woman, you're not just a woman. You can be a mother, a sister, a daughter, an aunt. You could be a horseback rider. You could be an athlete, a pianist. You could be an artist. You could be great at cooking. You could be great in the garden. You have all these different layers of your personality, of your character. You want to bring those in. That's what makes life interesting. That's what's going to make your home interesting. And that's what's going to keep longevity in your design and really step up the level of sophistication in your home. It doesn't have to be sophisticated. It doesn't mean it has to be a black tie. Level of sophistication in just a cozy, warm space. So you want to change the patterns. You want to mix those patterns and you want to spread them around. Look at, if you're finding these tips valuable and you're serious about your project, click the link below and schedule a complimentary discovery call. We'll hone in on what you really want done. And don't forget to subscribe because I'm coming out with great tips, great advice, and the secrets for interior design. My 4th secret is spread it out. The conversation has to be around the room so that the pieces are talking to each other. This should be a lively conversation. Not just one piece should be the center. Very narcissistic of the couch to be the center of the conversation. Have it repeated in other areas of the room. So the color of the sofa is recaptured in a piece of art across the room and pillows in the corner, maybe some element in the carpet or perhaps in decorative pieces. Have the conversation move around the room. Don't just keep it centered on that one signature piece. And by doing this, that signature piece also gets to stand out because it becomes the lead in the room with all the supporting actors or actresses. So spread it out. Keep the conversation going around the room and it will feel balanced. If we have all the color saturated in one space, you're going to find that it feels off balance. Like everything is leaning towards that piece and nothing else comes into the picture. This is what good design is about. This is how you're going to be able to create that space that feels great. And my final tip, my final secret is solid colors can look like blobs. So you have to break it up. And you do that, we talked about it, with pattern. So a sofa or sectional can often, well, most often, is if we're talking about a living room, is most often the largest piece in the room that is upholstered, and it's going to carry a lot of weight in the room. And just like I said in the previous one about spreading out the conversation, when the sofa is a solid color, 99% of homeowners end up with much more solid color sofas. you got to break it up. Don't get the pillows in the same fabric as your sofa or your sectional. Break it up with a pattern pillow that complements the color, that contrasts with the color of the sofa. It could still have some of the color of the sofa if you're people love blue. So I'm using blue today, but it could be a polka dot pattern and there's little blue in it. So now the sofa and the pillows are having conversations. And this piece and the pattern can then give that depth and that interest, which is going to give vitality and life to your room. Bring it alive. These 5 secrets I employ every single time, no matter what room it's in. I do it in bathrooms, I do it in living rooms, I do it in kitchens, bedrooms. You have to break these rules in order to, and use these secrets in order to create that space that feels balanced and energetic and creates longevity in the design. This is what's going to keep you happy. If you like this video, you're going to love this one over here. So click here and I'll see you over there.